1956, October 23rd. English, it's Alexander, they call me Alex. I was born in Hungary, originated from one of the generals of Arpad who led the Hungarians there, 1800. They came from Mongolia. His name was Paul, P-A-L. And in Hungarian, when you're from somewhere or belong to something, they put an I at the end of the word. So my ancestor's name was Sandor, belonged to Paul. Un-Dorkled. I was born in 38, and I was old enough to appreciate what the Holocaust was. You know, we had neighbors who we were hiding from the secret police. They call them the Hungarian Nazis. And the communists took over. My dad was a tailor, so they considered him a capitalist because he wouldn't join the community. So my future was pretty much written then, because I couldn't continue my education whether I wanted to or not. And if you weren't a communist, you didn't treat you right. The only thing the communists did, which favored me personally, is they showcased their athletes. So I was always active in one thing or another, and ever since I was like 6, 7 years old, I joined a swim team, and seemed like I was pretty good at it, because then the people started teaching me, and I got better and better. So 1952, I was selected to represent Hungary as well, and I went to Helsinki. My event was 800-meter freestyle, and then 400 medley, where you swim, backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. I was recruited by the architects of Hungary, and they pretty much sponsored me, so I did everything that they had, including the modern pentathlon, horseback riding, swimming, shooting, and all that. Yeah, I won a couple. But my best event kept being swimming. In '56, I allowed to go to the university through the architects up in Budapest, where I started studying architecture. While I was there, the Olympic team was practicing, and they asked me to come and train with them. October 23rd. The students marched, protested against the communist government in Hungary. Some of the Russian soldiers joined the protest that were stationed there, and the police just machine gunned them down. My brother got killed. I was swimming, and when this happened, we found out the next day, the 23rd, 24th, and of course the camp broke up, and most of the people, they went home, all of them, you know, to their houses. Now, I lived in Győr, G-Y-O-R, which is halfway between Vienna and Budapest, and there's, you know, no communication or anything. So I started walking, and then I got rides with the farmers on the. So a couple of days later, I'm back home, and I had to tell Mother what happened. So everything was okay because it was like freedom, new government in there, and it was like about 10 days when the Russians came back in on the 4th of November and restored the communist government. So by the 8th or 9th, they started arresting those that participated in the revolution, my age group. The hell I was doing, I was trying to, train for the Olympics. So Mom, Dad decided to escape with the rest of them and went to Austria. Well, going through the minefields and barbed wires and all that. Hungarian border guards showed us how to go, and this was November, it was snow on the ground. He says a lot of people went through there, just follow the footsteps. Don't step off because you get blown up. So we get to a farmhouse where next day a bus took us into Vienna where we got papers. One of the young men who was giving out the papers, he was also an athlete, and I competed against him, and he spoke Hungarian, I spoke German, so communication took place, and he said, "What the hell are you doing here?" I said, "Hey, what am I doing here? I'm trying to save my neck, don't you know? They're arresting everybody that is my age group." He said, "Yeah, I heard that, but the Hungarians don't have enough players." And I said, "I didn't even know they're going to the Olympics. Besides that, nobody ever picked me." The soccer team, who was the defending champion and also the World Cup champion, and they escaped right after the revolution started and went to Spain. We all know each other who competed. So he says, "Well, let me talk to the coach." He says, "We got 3 more days before we're leaving, and we're leaving together with the Italians." Obviously, Mother was upset when I mentioned it to her. I had to sneak out and leave, which I did, and they left 3 days later. It took about 2.5 days to fly to Australia from Austria, Vienna, and we went to Melbourne, Australia. So I get there. Obviously, my name's not on the list, and everywhere we went, we always had a secret police, and make sure nobody defects, going international matches and just local other countries around us. So there was one there, 2 of them actually, and when I got there, he arrested me. He says, "Hey, you're going back for trial. Your name's not here. You're one of the age groups that everybody's, arresting, and you have to be tried for your crimes." I said, "Well, I didn't do anything. I was swimming with these guys." Now, Coach was happy, and they convinced him. He said, "Well, where the hell's he going to go? Just let him play a couple of matches. We need players. Played as a substitute, a couple of minutes in the beginning. And then comes the semifinals, which was against the Russians. So we're going to kill those guys, Fight broke out in the water. One of the Hungarian players got a fist on his face from a Russian and started bleeding. And the public opinion was so much against the Russians, they stopped the game in the 4th period and awarded the game to the Hungarians, leading 4-0. During this time, Coach says, "Get the hell out of here." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, you don't want to go back to Hungary. You're in trouble with that communist country." I said, "Well, all I got is my Speedo and rope." He said, "Go over there, talk to the Australians, tell them what's happening. They'll take care of you." And 3-4 days later, I'm back in Austria, and Eisenhower made allowing 40,000 Hungarians to come to the U.S. So we were part of that because we had some relatives. Grandparents are from the United States. I think we got here December 1st or 2nd, and we had another relative outside of Philadelphia, Little Flower Institute, nuns, and visited them, and they said, hey, St. Joe's University get accepted. I started in February. English wasn't my native language. Had to learn a language before I could start the studies, and I did. I stayed in the dorm, and there was a professor there, Dr. James Dockery, who married a Hungarian girl during the war, Second World War, and kind of took me under his arms, and they were helping me learn the language. And she was very demanding. And, you know, I was, well, like 20-some years old, and, you know, food was one of the most important thing in my life. She says, no dinner unless you learn 50 new words. Got a job in the physics lab, and, you know, which was good. Got a 50 cents an hour, I think, or whatever the hell the minimum wage was in the 50s. Yeah, and I stayed in the dorm. I got room and board, so, you know, I was happy. And finished. I co-opted at the Franklin Institute, where professors were working on this electro-optic device, the laser. So they took pictures. I was part of the team. I was sweeping the floor. Yeah, didn't get my student deferment renewed. They talked me into not getting a job. A professor stay there and go for a PhD and all that. And so I mean, they were the authority, and I was growing up under authority, and you believe them or else. So I said, okay. Well, 6 months later, I got drafted by the Army because I had no deferment. So I go boot camp, and then from there, they sent me back to Philadelphia at Frankfurt Arsenal, Fire Control Division of the Army, where they're working on radars and this new rangefinder called the laser. I built the power supplies for them, you know, breadboard and all that, and test them, and, you know, the capacitor discharge system, and every time they ask me how far are the electrodes on the laser, I mean on the capacitor, I had burn on my arm. I said, this, how far it is. I was reaching in for something, I got whacked. It was 4,000 volts. From there, I guess retired, I quit. Because I got my citizenship. See, I think they've trained the new FBI guys on me, because every goddamn day I was interviewed. A kid from Hungary, communist country, right? And he's in here working on top secret material. I could never understand it. I did the design work, all the calculations, I had my lab work and all that in a notebook and all. And end of the day, my boss came, took the paperwork from me, locked it up, and I went home. Next day I showed up, then I got the paperwork to continue my activity. I said, well, shit, I mean, it's in here, you know? All my evaluation, you know, when you get raises, it said, well, you know, he needs to improve on his language skills. I said, shit, you know, you guys tell me I need to improve on language. Give me credit for some. I speak 3 other languages besides that. Bosses didn't realize that they only spoke 1 language, so that's not a plus when you speak. You gotta speak my language properly. They were right, okay.